You know, you could drive through Mexilhoeira Grande and not think much of it. I mean, it's a lovely little quaint village, farmland around, nothing much there. But there's one thing that holds everything together. We'll get back to that in a minute, but first of all, where is this place? Well, Mexilhoeira Grande is just under an hour's drive away from Faro along the A22 highway. And then you can also see how close Portimão and Lagos are. But before we get there, it's important to notice that both the 125 shown here in red is like super close to Mexilhoeira Grande. It's right there. And also the train line is right there as well with a station close by. So access is fantastic, it really is. So as we zoom right into Mexilhoeira Grande, you can see that Alvor and Portimão is just over there. Those high rises in the distance. There's 20 minutes away by car. Alvor is only 15 minutes away by car. And then as we pan around, you can see Lagos in the distance, which is 25 minutes away. So it's pretty well situated, and it feels like you're in the middle of the smallest town in the middle of peaceful countryside. It's fantastic. And a little bit later in this video, we'll examine some of the important places around, like schools, hospitals, medical, etc. So what actually holds this place together? Well, it all started a long time ago. Now, long before Portimão, before the coastline became what it is today, people were already living here, building, farming, shaping the land. Just a few minutes from here in Algarve, you've got tombs that go back way over 5,000 years. But it didn't stop there. The Romans came, they didn't just pass through, they settled. They built villas. There's an example of a villa called the Villa Romana de Abicada, which is just down the road from Mexilhoeira Grande. They worked the land. They used the area as a link between the inland and the sea, because in those days the rivers were much more prominent. Then the Moors arrived, and this is where it gets really interesting. So because they brought new technology to farming, they saw Mexilhoeira Grande as one of the most valuable pieces of arable land in the whole region. And they thought it was worth holding on to. And if you look closely today, the old irrigation systems, the layout of the land, and you can still feel that Moorish legacy. But despite all that, Mexilhoeira never really became the center of anything. It just sat outside the spotlight. First under Silves, and then it was tied to Portimão, always influenced by bigger powers, but never quite becoming one itself. And maybe that's why it feels the way it does today. There's this quiet continuity here. Now, there's one thing that, as I said, that ties this whole place together, the real anchor, and that's the church. Now, the church here at the center of the village has been the anchor for centuries because life revolves around it. Everybody would go there every single weekend, on Sundays, and go, and the community would come together. People would swap stories and, see who's in, who's out, who's moving through, what strangers are, looming around the area, and who do we have to be aware of. And obviously there's funerals and weddings and baptisms where all the families and friends come together and at the central focal point. And I went walking around this morning. I went, taking some videos around the church. And you could see pictures of old people, of old families in the 1900s who were still using this church as their central point. And it just felt really epic. It was a really wonderful, peaceful feeling about it. Obviously, these days, the church isn't that much the center of community anymore, and it's easy to live a life where, it's not so community-driven. In 1758, a local priest officially wrote that there was nothing of importance here, because what had happened is the king had sent out emissaries to all freguesias in the land to say, report back what's going on in your freguesia, which is like your area. It's a smaller area of the municipality. And the local priest in Mexilhoeira Grande said, no notable buildings, no real significance, which could not have been more wrong. And he was proved wrong by more modern historians, because in reality, there was this long established parish church, which is here today, which is already significant. There was a functioning religious and social structure coming together every single week and worshipping. There was evidence of economic activity and population continuity, which is a strong farming community. And of course, there were layers of older historical occupation, even if the priest of the time didn't know the prehistoric Roman stuff. So in essence, Mexilhoeira Grande is a village anchored by its church, where life followed the rhythm of the seasons and where once a week everything came back together. Sunday Mass wasn't just about religion. It was the moment the entire community reassembled. Now, in modern times, we don't have that kind of cement that pulls the community together, but we do have festivals. And every year, there are festivals like the Festa de Nossa Senhora de Assunção in August, and that happens around the village center near the church, obviously, and still does bring people together in celebration, music, food, processions, and all that fun stuff. They have a festival, the Caracol, which is a snail, so the festivals of snails. It's usually in summer. There's also a really big youth festival that happens every year as well. And so there's lots of festivals that bring people together. And these were very, very important in the austere times of the 50s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. Because people in Portugal were poor, really poor, and festivals gave everyone a chance to be able to eat great food. So check out the festivals in Mexilhoeira Grande. Obviously, every little town here has them. So talking about festivals, it's time for lunch. Now we're going to go and have lunch with Deb and Kathy, who are some of our clients that you may or may not have seen on our video podcast. We interviewed them at great length, and it was really good. It was very popular. A lot of people love them, and they're such fantastic people. So I couldn't pass up the opportunity of having lunch with them. And we went down to a local lunch place just outside Mexilhoeira Grande, and it's interesting to hear their point of view of living close by. We're at Ushupana restaurant, and it's fantastic. We just had a wonderful meal with Deb and Kathy, and we just want to ask you guys, what's life like in Mexilhoeira Grande?
It is absolutely wonderful. This is a really great place to live between Portimão and Lagos and Oriachna, which we love. So and we come here often.
Hey Deb.
Hello.
How's it going? What's it like? Apparently there's a festival on Christmas in
Yes.
Mexilhoeira Grande.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the small towns, throughout the Algarve and throughout Portugal, people just have great spirits and are generous, and so a lot of the local vendors from Lagos and Portimão, and then the smaller vendors here, all contribute to this festival, and the proceeds go to help the kids in Mexilhoeira Grande. And this past year, they got a kind of a specially equipped wheelchair for one of the handicapped kids there, so it's great.
That's lovely. It's a lovely story. Thanks so much to Deb and Kathy for letting me join them for lunch. It was really great fun. So we had lunch there at Ashupana, and as we zoom out, you can see the sheer size of Mexilhoeira Grande. It's actually quite much larger than Portimão itself. And right on the north of the freguesia is the Autodromo. Okay, but now we're going to zoom right back in and head for the train station, because the train station obviously very important. It's just to the south of Mexilhoeira Grande. You'll pass a chemist or a pharmacy on your right hand side, and then there's a cluster of cafes, 1, 2, 3, 4 about, just scattered throughout the town. Some restaurants, not that many. The football restaurant, Ja Pizza, which looks like fantastic pizza that you can take away, and Sabor de Vila, which is also a cafe. And then a little bit further north, Oficina. There are lots more restaurants around and about in the hillsides, and really, really good stuff around as well. That massive green pitch, which we talked about already, is this incredible football field and amazing sports center with a heated indoor pool, which is almost free. It's so cheap, as long as you registered properly first. Nearby hospitals in Alvor, Portimão, and Lagos make health and medical an absolute breeze. International schools in Lagos and around Lagos, just on the other side. Not that many close by, but there are local schools nearby. Oh, and shopping. How can we forget shopping? Yeah, there's big shopping malls in Portimão, just on the 125, which is not far away at all, and in Lagos as well. And obviously there's all the Continent and Pingados and things in Portimão and Lagos as well. But you can get all you need from the mini markets in Mexilhoeira Grande itself. Oh, and golf courses. I don't actually talk about golf that much, but you can see that there is a Penina golf course just outside Alvor. There's Alto golf course down near Alvor. There's Palmares on the sort of eastern extremity of Lagos, and Boa Vista down next to Lagos itself, with Espiche Golf a little further west. Recently, I interviewed a lady called Laura who had actually walked with a donkey from France all the way to Portugal. So check out our video podcast with that. It's a fascinating story. And she had moved recently to Mexilhoeira Grande. So I popped in to see her, and she just exhibited pure rural hospitality. Lovely, giving me oranges and lemons and everything. Wow, what a beautiful morning. I can't resist a good little walk, and there are tons of them around here. Beautiful hiking trails. Just check it out on all trails, and you walk for days. These canals are obviously hugely important for irrigation. Right now nobody seems to need water, but it's very important. To sort of shows that this was a big agricultural area. It's a station over here behind me, right there. And then I'm just hiking along this thing. Apparently it's called the Flamingo Trail, according to Lara. So let's see if we can see any flamingos. Crazy paintball. Are you crazy? Doesn't look like much cover or protection from paintball. So in conclusion, I was really surprised by Mexilhoeira Grande. I'd never been there before. I'd actually just driven past the 125, never turned off into the village. And I loved it. I was like really immersed in the whole environment around the church. It was such a beautiful morning, and I loved it. I really did it. And I was like really thinking about all the old families that were drawn together by the church over time, and how it really pulled people together, and how sadly we're lacking that community these days. That sort of magnet that pulls people together. But like I said, there's festivals that bring people together, and you have to just get out and make friends yourself. So that can increase the community. But yeah, Mexilhoeira Grande, great place. It's very well located, great transport links as well. So yeah, if you are looking for a place to live in the Algarve, maybe it's something to consider. I mean, there's lots of other places as well. So if you are thinking about coming to the Algarve, jump on a call with us and we can discuss exactly where you'd like to live. And if you need a scouting tour, we do those as well. So you can come along and we'll drive you around for a whole day, showing you all the most amazing places in the Algarve, because this place is gorgeous. I know, I've been living here for 25 years and I still love it. So it's got to be good. All right. Have a fantastic week. Next week, we're going to be doing something awesomely exciting. We're going to go to Castro Marim, which is right on the other end, so totally different ballgame, right on the eastern side of the Algarve. All right, see you then. AlgarveAddicts.com. We'll see you next week, but if you need any help relocating to the Algarve, click through to our website, AlgarveAddicts.com. We offer tours, immigration assistance, long-term rentals, and we can buy your house.